Well, this is my video log number 3, and what I am going to discuss today is just going to take 5 minutes of your daily time. And trust me, that 5 minutes you spend on getting fit will work wonders if you consistently do it long term. So there are some short-term goals that we're going to discuss today that if incorporated on a daily basis, you'll see some major changes. For the first time, to prepare what we're going to talk about may take slightly more than 5 minutes or to get used to it. But beyond that, it's just a 5 minute activity. And that 5 minute activity is going to create wonders in your life. So here's a quick 5 minute activity, which is precisely not an activity I would say, but more or less like a habit that you should develop on a daily basis, because that 5 minutes that you invest doing this will ensure good health and elevated fitness levels. I know there are many who think, why do I use the word elevated? That's because in my dictionary, the meaning of the word fitness is that you increase it every time you involve yourself in an activity that involves some physical endurance. When you involve yourself in such activities, you just go about increasing your energetic eons so that those energetic eons can help you deliver better in your next performance, and in the process you'll just take the bar high, sky high, way above that. So let's get the consistency meter on and let's talk about that superb duper idea that could get you in shape with the use of Microsoft Excel. Now, as you can see on my screen, I am using Google Drive because it gets easier for you to track your performance anywhere when you're using Google Drive, because Google Drive could be used on your mobile phones as well. So spreadsheet is just a doppelganger of Microsoft Excel. Not much of a difference. The formulas and everything remains the same. So I've prepared a Microsoft Excel sheet for myself, named it Yogesh Honavarkar TLF Diet Quantifier 2, and I make something like this for my clients. Now, how does this help me to stay in shape? Very simple. Anything visual, when you have it in front of your eyes, reminds you what you're working out for. Now, while you're doing your exercises, while you're maintaining a diet, unless and until you don't have a definite goal, you're still working on yourself or following a diet like a headless chicken without leading towards a goal that you've set. But I've set a goal for myself, and that's what I do for my clients as well. As you can see, I'm 35 years old man, precisely male. 165 centimeters is my height based on these parameters, and the weight that I have at 63.75. My caloric intake as per the basal metabolic rate comes to 1489. I put up a Bmr Calculator link here, so all I have to do is click that link. A website opens up. This website basically prompts me to enter my age, my height, and my weight, which is 63.75 right now, and I get a caloric intake target, which is 1499 right now. Last time it came to around 1489. Just 10, doesn't matter, it's still a small value. But now my goal is supposedly to get some lean muscle mass and structure myself, because I've been out of shape. So I had to lose a lot of body fat and at the process get myself structured. So I have a definite goal that I have to work for. I need to increase my muscle mass. So that's why I would look forward to gain a little weight but pure muscle. So I'm still going to target around 1500 calorie consumption in coming days, and slowly and steadily increase that intake basis of how well I progress. So 63.75 right now, 68 45 days down the line, 90 days down the line, I'll probably looking at 75 kgs, but that's been changed recently. I'm maintaining myself at 65 kgs throughout, purely because I want to qualify for an upcoming kickboxing tournament, and the weight is a deciding factor for being in a certain class where you can compete. Now, this is the first page. It's all about goals. These are your short-term goals. Your caloric intake has to be around 1500 calories. And this is the weight you have to maintain throughout. That means you just can't go beyond. Now, there are certain limitations to daily habit. Alcohol during social event once in a week was a thing long back. Not anymore. This is a copied spreadsheet. I just made a copy out of another client. Never ever. I don't have alcohol. I do not recommend alcohol, because alcohol is a pure enemy of protein synthesis. But if I have to speak about the daily habits, lack of sleep. I hardly get to sleep around maybe 4 to 5 hours. So that's something that limits my daily habits, but I would somehow compensate by getting myself involved in some meditative therapies, probably take a power nap and stuff like that. Now, similarly, there are some other habits. I'll say I have a sweet tooth, but I've gotten over it. I don't eat sugar because I've given myself a target of staying within 25 grams of sugar on a daily basis. And I'll also tell you how you can go about tracking it. Sugar intake target less than 25 gram a day. Now, as you know, you have added sugar, you have natural sugar. It doesn't matter what type of sugar it is. I won't go beyond 25 grams in a day. That's how I'll know how much I've eaten. I don't think so I have many other daily habits. Yes, excessive exercise is a kind of limitation, because I end up losing muscle by doing back-to-back HIIT drills, back-to-back MMA sparring with my kids whom I train. Now, if you see, this was my first sheet. The next sheet is the progress update sheet. That's what I've made, and I have been losing weight per se. But if I show you how I'm consuming food, you'll be surprised. Now, as you can see, it's been like 4 weeks down the line. I am doing great so far. Yes, the body fat percent seems to be fine, but I have dropped considerate amount of body fat in the recent days. The muscle, water. So these are the things that I've made because I have, I have a device which just gives you certain data basis of how it maps your body composition. So you need to take that information with a grain of sand, because when I did a DEXA scan, the reports were completely different to what they are over here. The DEXA scan report showed me that I have close to 14.8% of body fat and quite a bit of muscle mass. So yeah, I'll just take that information with a grain of sand. But for your information, it's always good to know what your weight update is. Every Saturday morning after your hygiene activity, make it a point that you're registering your weight here and see how it is, how it's going. Just look at yourself in the mirror and see how you're doing. Now, this is the diet crafting sheet where I created a diet plan of my own. I've added some formula. Now, just in case, guys, if you feel that creating an Excel sheet is a tedious task with a lot of formulas and stuff, you can just ping me and get one from me by seeking some professional help, either from me or one of my coaches, or you can do it on your own. See how easy I've kept it. Very simple, very easy. So what I have in the breakfast, this may necessarily not be the same, but there are certain goals. We're going to talk about that goal soon. As you can see, what I have is a scoop of whey protein, 30 grams oats, soy milk. Lately, I'm not having whey protein. 3 eggs, 50 grams of peanuts. Now, that's just an eating sample for the breakfast. That's how my lunch looks like. Okay. I made this eating sample long before I was consuming chicken. It's been close to quite some time now that I've given up chicken and mutton. I'm having fish and eggs, but this is more like an eating sample again. Eggs, white rice, chicken breast. And then I have my dinner, 2 eggs, 50 grams of soybean, sprouted moong with curd and cucumber, more like a salad and stuff. Now here, what I've basically done after this is I just copied this and moved on. I created one more sheet called as the eating sample, which I'm going to move towards right next to where the diet crafting sheet is. It's very simple. All I did here was copied the food items from here and pasted these here like an eating sample that I can refer. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. It's not about what you eat, but what matters is the nutritional value that goes in the food, and that's what I've spoke about in the first video. As you can see, breakfast, my target is, I split my breakfast into two. So it's a heavy breakfast. So at a time I may have whey protein post my workout, but before workout I definitely need a little strength. So I may have a part of it which gives me close to 35 grams of protein. But the goal is whether I have it twice, split my breakfast twice or thrice, I should consume 67 grams of protein, close to 36 grams of carbohydrate, 45 grams of fat, around 10 or 11 grams of fiber. So 830 calories is my goal in a breakfast. Lunch, again 46 grams of protein. I've mentioned breakfast, lunch, dinner because it gets a little complicated writing 4 or 5 meals. But I don't have all of it at one go. I just make it a point that I'm consuming close to 30 to 40 grams of protein at one go, which means I always split my meals. I don't kind of have it together. So lunch, by the time I finish my lunch, the goal is simple: 46.66, 45.54 grams of carbs, 15.53 approximately there, and 6.9 grams of fiber, around 508 calories. Dinner, as you can see, quite a lot of protein because again it's split 66 grams, carbs close to 30 grams, fat close to 20 grams, fiber 8 and 8.8, and 559. And a sample meal plan that I made gives me a total caloric intake of 1898. Add a bit of condiments and spices and a little oil that I use in cooking, takes it to close to 2000 calories, which means my goal has to be within 2000 calories. Fiber close to 25 to 26 grams. So no one wants to get constipated when they're on a high protein diet because those lead to chronic issues. So as you can see, 80 grams of fat, 111 grams of carbohydrate, and close to 180 grams of fiber. So the proportion is more or less 40% protein, 40% fat, and close to 25 or 23% carbohydrate. That's how I proportion the meals. That's how the food sample looks like. Do I eat what is mentioned over here exactly the same? Not really. Here's the food log that I maintain. Now, logging the food is absolutely important. I was just speaking about that 5-minute activity. You may not want to make an Excel sheet the way that I have made because I do understand it could be time consuming because your app will do the task. But this is the best thing that you can do, food log. I know you log your food on your app, but trust me, unless and until you don't make an additional effort to know how much you are eating consistently, you are not going to achieve your goals. Yeah, I'm saying it one more time. If you don't make an extra effort to spend that 5 minutes logging the food on the app and over here, you're not going to achieve your goals. So as you can see, by the end of the day, I'll show you how you can use the app. I've shown it to you in the previous video, but in this video, I'm going to show you how you can go about using the app. When you use that app, you basically log your food, and after logging the food, you just get to know how much protein, carb, fat, and fiber you consume. Now, as you can see, I have made this log for myself on the spreadsheet. You can just use a format of this where you make week 1 protein. Okay, then the protein calories, it's very much simple. 1 gram of protein equals 4 calories. Same principle for the carbohydrate. 1 gram of carb equals 4 calories again. Fat is caloric dense, so 1 gram of fat equals 9 calories. So you have fat and fat calories over here, calories you get from fat. And then you have fiber. Now, this is where the total calorie comes into picture that you consume, the workout that you did for that day, how good your sleep was, what was your water intake. Now, these are the pillars that you have to maintain. Now, at the end of the day, when you finished logging your food, just spend that 30-second, trust me, maximum 1 minute is what it will take to just add your stats over here. From day 1 to day 7, see how it goes. In the second week, day 1 to day 7, see how it goes. In the third week, day 1 to day 7, and see how it goes. Just do this consistently. It's good to know what's going in your body, because I always say what goes in your body is what leads you towards good health. You see a couple of red spots here. I was involved in some sort of events or corporate webinars or workshops or something or the other that didn't make me log it. But trust me, it was wrong on my side to not log it. It's a crime for me to not log it. That's why that particular section is highlighted red. So make it as your lifestyle. Like eating food is important, like working out is important, like drinking water is important, like sleeping enough is important, like sharing love to your family and friend is important. Knowing what you're doing is important, and this process will help you know what you are doing. As you can see, I'm consistently consuming on an average more than 130 140 grams of protein. There have been days which were terrible, which were difficult because of a lot of work that I've been doing, but I have consistently maintained it. Okay, I had to maintain week 5, day 7, and then update my stats. So that's something I'm going to do. Now, this is a habit that I want you guys to cultivate. Now, this is a spreadsheet that I made for myself. You can simply ignore the rest of the part. If in case you want a sample of this, simply reach out to me and we can probably help you with some professional assistance on how could you go about coaching yourself towards good health, so you don't need a nutritionist or a dietitian. I made some food items that I precisely add, or the food items which are nutrient dense, which includes protein source, carb source, as well as the fat source on Google Drive. Uh, it's basic Microsoft knowledge is all that you need to you be able to prepare an Excel sheet like this. But trust me, guys, with that bit of a corporate education of using Microsoft Excel, you can do wonders with your health. So if you've gotten some knowledge that helps you excel at work, why not excel yourself by acing your fitness goals? It's as simple as that. And trust me, you are good at it. Now, every 7 days, once you document it, all you've got to do is just go through your progress update and just add it. You can use the device that gives you a ballpark figure about how it is. Yes, the BMI, the fat, the muscle may not look pleasant because, as I said, that body composition scale that you get on the internet or in on several websites, that information needs to be taken with a grain of sand. But after all, it helps you stay on track. The actual change that you're supposed to see is always visible in front of the mirror. Look at yourself in the mirror. So the app I use is Lose It. A very good app. Yeah, it comes up with a few pop-ups for advertisements. You can simply ignore it. Just use it for the purpose of recording or logging your food logs. As you can see, I can select a breakfast and I'll probably add stuff that I had today. You have a nice little search tab. So type what you had so far. SoFit doesn't look like it's there as a brand, but it is a soy milk, unsweetened, natural, sugar free. So I'm going to select soy milk, select the quantity I had, that was close to 300 milliliters, which had fair bit of protein in it already, and that's the whole purpose of getting high amount of protein, moderate amount of carbs, and moderate amount of fat in a balanced diet. So I've selected that. Beyond that, I also had sprouts. So those were alfalfa sprouts, mung bean sprouts that I had, close to 150 grams. That's why measuring your food is important, to know how much calories you're tracking. So I added that much to my list. I hit done, and that's where it is. You have the total amount of food that you've consumed. Now it is important for you to know how much calories the food gave, right? Similarly, you can log your lunch, your dinner, just in case if you have any snack, just log in that. Now, at the bottom left corner, you have the button where if you click, it prompts I'm done logging, which means you've done logging. I'm just taking it off because I'm not done logging for the day. And it keeps a track of how many days have you been logging your food. The most important point is seeing how much calories have you consumed so far. So if you click on my day at the bottom left corner, as you see right below the circle, it shows the net calories you've consumed and how much more could you consume for the day. And if you click on a drop down right on top, on the top right side, you can select macronutrients, see how much macronutrients you've consumed. It's as simple as that. This gives you a holistic view, and this view helps you track how much macros have you consumed and how much more could you opt for. And it also gives you a gist or a graphical illustration of how your macro consumption has been for almost a week. And in both sides, not just the calorie perspective, but for macronutrient perspective as well. Because that's the data that needs to go in the Excel sheet, which is visually available for you to follow every given day. That's just in case if you want a good view of a few trace minerals like sodium, sugar, fiber, how much it is. Click on that circle and it tells you the rest of it. Now, isn't that helpful? If you have to limit your sugar intake to less than 25 gram, both natural sugar as well as added sugar, this is helpful. And so it is if in case you want to reduce some sodium to avoid water retention. So there it is. Lose It is the name of the app. A very good app, to be very honest. And at the end of the day, what matters the most is how you're tracking your macros. So please subscribe, share and like if you find this video resourceful and helpful. At the end of the day, my goal is to make 1,000 people fit. And if you're watching this video, I can consider you as being one of the person in that 1,000 people list who is aspiring to get fit our way. Use the hashtag TLF1000 if you feel that we're doing justice to the term health and fitness.